And our top story tonight, a Deputy U.S. Marshal injured by an ICE agent during an immigration operation this morning. The man who those agents were after also injured.
Well, the CBS LA team is covering all of the angles in this developing story, beginning with Luzdelia Caballero. She is live near the shooting scene. Luzdelia.
Good evening. Currently, there is a press conference going on where community leaders and activists are speaking out against what happened here earlier today. It was a chaotic scene. Community members telling us that this is something that they don't like seeing in their neighborhood, especially a couple of feet away from a high school. Currently, the investigation continues and federal officials are here collecting and gathering all evidence to piece together exactly what unfolded here. Take a listen to what community members had to say and what we know.
It's very dangerous right now.
Gunfire shattered the stillness in South Los Angeles Tuesday morning, leaving a Deputy U.S. Marshal injured, a man in custody, and a community deeply shaken.
Richard coming here.
Viel Rojas is a TikTok journalist who says he saw his friend, who goes by Richard L.A. on TikTok, being taken away by federal immigration officials.
The federal agents go to Richard and I got take it, Richard.
Rojas recorded video of the tail end of the arrest. The Department of Homeland Security tells us federal officers from ICE and the U.S. Marshals were tracking a man with undocumented status who had previously escaped custody as part of a targeted enforcement stop.
The federal agents take the trucks in the middle, the car to Richard.
DHS says when they tried to arrest him after pulling him over in a standard law enforcement procedure, the man used his car as a weapon, ramming law enforcement vehicles in an attempt to flee, saying officers followed training and fired defensive shots after fearing for their safety. In the midst of it all, a bullet ricocheted, striking a U.S. Marshal in the hand.
Richard no open the door, and the federal agents, hey, open the door, no open the door, and I take the shots. Yeah.
The suspect, who the community has identified as Richard L.A. from TikTok, was also hit, shot in the elbow. Both were rushed to the hospital. Close friends of Richard tell CBS LA he's known for alerting the community to events like immigration enforcement operations. They say back on June 13th, he was injured while being placed in custody and later released by federal immigration officials.
And did he have the media vest on when he was shot?
Yes. And I got the vest, and I got in the car the plate.
Though the violence unfolded in seconds, people we spoke with say the impact will linger much longer here.
They can't even come outside. I mean, they're afraid of immigration. They're afraid of the ICE race that's occurring now. And it's only a matter of time when these people will get hit.
It's crazy. Like, for me, this situation is very abnormal right now.
We're making an arrest here on East 40th Street.
The Department of Homeland Security saying in a statement, in part, these are the consequences of conduct and rhetoric by sanctuary politicians and activists who urge illegal aliens to resist arrest. Resisting arrest puts the safety of illegal aliens, law enforcement, and the public at risk. And while both the U.S. Marshal and the man in custody are expected to survive, those who live here say this is the latest encounter, one that has reopened old wounds. Fears of immigration enforcement operations, and has also heightened the level of uncertainty within this community. Reporting live in South Los Angeles, Luzdelia Caballero, CBS LA.
Thank you so much, Luzdelia. Now, that suspect who was shot in the operation is a popular TikToker who calls himself a citizen journalist.
CBS LA's Jasmine Viel continues our live team coverage from outside California Hospital Medical Center, where a vocal group gathered shortly after he was brought in by ambulance. Jazz.
Yeah, and there are still a few of those protester supporters behind me. Now, a U.S. official is saying that the man, that well-known citizen journalist, is here in the hospital now in stable condition after being shot by ICE officers. But you can see behind me some people are still gathered here in front of the hospital after some tense and angry moments right outside these hospital doors.
You're gonna wait till it's you getting shot?
A small but vocal group of protesters swarmed the ambulance entrance at Dignity Health California Hospital in downtown LA Tuesday, demanding answers about a man Homeland Security says was shot by ICE officers, a man widely known on TikTok for recording immigration enforcement activity.
One of the TikTok live streamers got shot, and he usually reports on anything happening in our community.
LAPD officers arriving in riot gear to keep the peace and make sure emergency crews could still get through.
We got a call that the hospital was being broken into, tires were being slashed, the windows were being broken. Obviously, that's not what's happening.
Sergeant Gordon Helper from LAPD Central Division stepping in to help the crowd get updates on the man's condition.
Are they going to release Richard?
That's what we're waiting for, right?
Richard is a father. He is an uncle.
At one point, it appeared workers were evacuated from a nearby office building as visitors struggled to get inside the hospital.
But we came here to see my stepmom. She gave birth and they're telling us we can't come in. There's a lot of people crowded outside too, protesting.
Sure, I want to go see him so that we know exactly what's going on.
Attorney Carlos Gerardo says he is representing the TikToker known as Richard L.A. He says his full name is Carlos Richard Parias.
Our understanding is that there was some sort of a DHS activity this morning that was near his residence. So he comes outside and he records, and somehow in the process of him recording, he was impacted by a bullet in one of his extremities. We're not sure where the bullet is, what his condition is, because no one has told us anything.
He couldn't confirm Richard was the intended target of ICE officers.
It's very difficult to trust every word that comes from DHS. What we know about Richard is he's a very pacifist man. He's very calm. A lot of the police officers here know him. They know that he's very respectful. In fact, the city of Los Angeles has awarded him for the work that he does in the community.
That loyalty clear as his supporters wait and hope for the man they say has always been a voice for them. You know, the chants have quieted, but the anger and the uncertainty remains right outside this hospital. You know, Richard's family, his son was here. He did not want to speak to the media, but the ACLU arrived gathering information. We had reps. I listened to them speak right out in front of the hospital from those several different community organizations like the SEIU, all part of LA's Rapid Response Immigration Network, all arriving still here tonight. Live here in downtown LA, Jasmine, Viel, CBS LA.
Jasmine, thank you.